Emotional responses appear in the external being, and for the most part, they stem from the vital being and its various moods. There is, however, another potential source of what appear on the surface being as emotions, and that is something that stirs deep in the being, in the psychic heart. Instances of deep devotion, feelings of consecration, intense sense of self-giving, stemming from the soul's heart, can bring forward responses in the external being that are reflections of the psychic development taking place, sometimes mostly unseen and unrecognized in the being. There are also instances of longing that devotional literature, poetry, and spiritual texts express in songs and plaintive cries for the beloved to appear. The stories surrounding Sri Krishna and the gopis show the psychic being coming to the fore and overcoming all ordinary emotions. A disciple asks, "Is an emotion always a vital movement?" The mother responds, quote, "It depends on the emotion, and it also depends on what you call an emotion. For example, there is a state where, if you find yourself in the presence of a very precise, very clear psychic movement, a distinctly psychic movement, this happens quite often. The emotion is so powerful that tears come to your eyes. You are not sad. You are not happy. Neither one nor the other. It doesn't correspond to any particular feeling, but it is an intensity of emotion which comes from something that is clearly, precisely psychic. It may be in yourself, but it is even more often in someone else. When you are in contact with an act, a movement, a manifestation which belongs to the psychic, then, all of a sudden, the eyes are filled with tears. If you call that an emotion, obviously it is an emotion. But usually it comes from one thing. The physical being has a not very conscious, but very intense longing for a contact with the psychic life. It feels poor, destitute, isolated, and abandoned when it is not in contact with the psychic being. Not one physical being in a million is aware of this. But this kind of impression of being lost, left hanging, without protection, without support, of lacking something and not knowing what it is, something you don't understand but which you lack, an emptiness somewhere. Well, this comes more often than one thinks. People have no idea what it is. But then, when for some reason or other this consciousness suddenly comes into contact with a clearly psychic phenomenon, with psychic forces, psychic vibrations, the feeling is so strong that certainly, most often, the body can hardly hold it. It is like a joy that is too great, that overflows on all sides, that you can't contain, can't hold in yourself. It is like that. There is suddenly a sort of revelation, not very conscious, not clearly expressed. The revelation of, this is it. This is what I must have. And it is so powerful that it gives you an emotion, which is made up of so many things that you can hardly say what it is. These are emotions that are not vital." End quote. Reference: Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, The Psychic Being, Soul, Its Nature, Mission, and Evolution, Section 1, Meaning and Nature of the Psychic Being, pages 38 to 39.